I'm Jack Knave.
And I'm Charlie Darling.
And this is Versatile Views.
What is Versatile Views, you ask?
We're two queer identifying gay men in London who provide insight into queer culture through top tier takes and bottomless banter.
We're active members of the queer community here in London, and we've had all sorts of experiences navigating that. Good and bad.
By top tier takes, we mean making you think and making you feel.
With bottomless banter, well, we've been best mates for years, and we know just how to wind each other up.
It's my favourite thing.
Mine too. I'm going to get you.
I hope it's your favourite thing.
But why start a podcast about it? Jack, what are your reasons for doing this?
The last few years have been tough. I hid myself away from the world quite a bit. But 2025, 2023, baby, I came out all guns blazing. And I had floated the idea to you before, but I don't think I sold you on it.
I was going to say, you asked me, and I said no.
And I respected that.
True.
But to my surprise, you floated the idea again. I'll let you get into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I jumped at the opportunity because I've thought for the past few years now, we've been having tremendously wonderful conversations, just you and I.
Yeah.
And it's something we've said we want to share with people. We want to speak to our friends about it. But why not invite strangers and hear their perspectives? Because this podcast is about discovering more about myself, learning more about you and my friendship with you, but also more about the world. That's my raison d'être. That's my motivation.
Brilliant.
So Charlie, I'd like to hear more about your reasons.
As you said, I was reluctant to do this at first. I was scared to try something new and put myself out there. This year, I met some people, I had some conversations, and this barrier just fell away. And suddenly I felt like I could do this. Not only that I could do it, I must.
You should.
And no one's tried to stop me yet.
I certainly didn't. Get that fire exit door. We're off.
And as you said, I'm so excited to learn new things about myself, about you, our friendship, and all the topics we want to talk about.
Yeah, I think the pair of us have attacked this with quite the appetite.
With gusto. This is a new collaboration for us, and it's going pretty well.
I'm enjoying it.
Oh, that's sweet.
Profusely.
But most of all, it's going to be fun.
Well, yeah. It better be. I'm not doing it for a miserable time. That was 2024, Jack. What a bitch.
But before we get into the topic of this week's episode, we want to do a little segment that we call Tops and Bottoms.
Oh, I love it.
Jack, what were your tops and bottoms of the week?
So I'm going to start off with the bottom of my week.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's an important lesson to have in grace.
Okay.
Not just for other people, but yourself. I mispronounced someone. Not my favorite thing. Really don't like doing it. Something I thought I was great at. I really do see people for who they want to be seen as. And I do my best to make sure I show that. But in a moment of frustration, I accidentally used the incorrect pronouns.
It can happen to anyone.
It can. And as we know, people often use the wrong pronouns for me.
But what matters is how you then deal with it.
Exactly. And I apologized to the person and we moved on.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need to beg that person for forgiveness. I didn't need to make them make me feel better about my mistake.
No.
Because they were probably feeling just as frustrated.
Yeah.
That's it. I just wanted to own that and take responsibility for it.
Yeah, I think respecting people's pronouns is a great way to show support to our trans and non-binary siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be difficult for us sometimes. We get it wrong. And just putting a hand up and saying, I messed that up.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't mean anything by it. That takes guts.
Mm-hmm.
And most people would respond very well to that.
Yeah.
So.
I was impressed. They were definitely amenable
Good.
to it. My top. Well, I actually think we shared the top.
Oh, sounds like a good time.
Something we've never done before, though. My top of this week is that we announced our first episode.
Scary stuff.
Scary stuff.
No going back.
There was no going back. And I didn't want to.
No.
But the response we've received so far has been extremely positive.
Yeah.
And very motivating.
Yes.
And I really can't wait to see where we go with it, to be perfectly honest. We also introduced a new sort of segment where we're talking about RuPaul's Drag Race UK.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been super fun.
Yeah.
And
It's a riot.
It's a hoot. But I want to hear your tops and bottoms right now.
So you're right. We do share a top.
Yay.
But the thing is, something else great happened to me this week as well.
Mm-hmm.
I went to my cousin's wedding,
Oh.
and this might be the only time family features in my top of the week.
Read them.
Drag 'em. It was lovely. Like, the family came together to celebrate my cousin and her partnership.
It's nice to see everyone enjoying themselves.
Absolutely. And I had the role of being the gay cousin.
Oh my God, ultimate. Ultimate.
So I was representing the LGBTQ pluses at this very straight function. And I got complimented on my necklace, my dancing. It was great.
You basically got complimented for like looking after your appearance.
Yes.
Straight people do better. But keep having LGBTQIA plus babies. We need you to keep that going. But I want to hear your bottom because I love it when you're miserable. No, I don't. I'm joking.
My bottom was I was sick, got a cold again, and then I was hungover. Double whammy. That's my own fault.
There was no way I could have possibly avoided this. It just happened to me.
I've been hungover twice this week as well.
Twice?
Yes.
Why?
Because I've been off gallivanting with my friends and having a wonderful time on a Tuesday night. But don't worry, everyone. I am on the recovery. I'm full of beans today.
Thank goodness.
I'm so happy to be here.
You're full of something.
But a shit.
Shiza Manelli.
Not your best.
I thought that was hysterical, but okay. And now I need to go do my hair.
And I need to grow mine.
See you in a minute. I think it's time to do the grand unveiling of today's topic of discussion.
We have decided to talk about a book.
Nerd.
Oh yes, I love to read.
Oh my gosh, that makes me Miss Trunchbull.
But we knew that.
Straight in the cheeky.
Who am I then? Miss Honey?
No, you're Matilda.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, I love to read.
Yeah, true, sorry. The book we chose to discuss is Straitjacket by Matthew Todd.
And who is Matthew Todd?
He is the former editor of Attitude magazine. He is a playwright and now a climate change activist. So today we're going to discuss his book Straitjacket, which is all about analysing the shame that gay men feel and face growing up queer in the UK. It's part memoir,
Part personal development.
and then there's quite a drastic bait and switch that occurs towards the end of the book.
It's a real hard pivot.
It becomes a guide on how to identify and tackle addiction.
In any way that it manifests.
So we were taken aback by that.
I really was like left on the other foot.
Yeah. To be clear, this isn't going to be a review of the book.
The review will be on our Patreon. More on that later. Something that's noteworthy about this book is it is often on lists of books that gay men and their allies should read. That's not a mistake. This book is written primarily from the lens of a gay man. And as two gay men, that's our lived experiences.
We can only speak of our own lived experience. We don't want to gloss over and generalize our experience and apply it to those people who are in the LGBTQIA plus community, but not gay men.
So that will inform the majority of this conversation. But we promise that in the future, it will be far more inclusive of the entire community.
That's our aim. Yeah. And we're passionate about that.
Extremely.
Sure. Yeah. We have many conversations to that effect. It touches upon a number of themes and issues that are relevant to us, and we're going to use them as a springboard for this conversation and conversations in the future.
Some parts of it were highly relatable, some were not.
Mm-hmm.
But this conversation is an opportunity for you to get to know us. Because I think if you trust our opinion on this, you'll trust our opinions on quite a few other things.
I guess we'll see. This book was written in 2015, and something that really stuck out to us when we read it was the 2015 of it all. It really is of its time, and reading it 10 years after the fact was in some ways kind of sobering.
Yes, good word. I think what really stuck out to me was in the foreword, the author makes mention of trans rights in a way that felt very, we've solved the gay problem. Gay people are accepted now. Let's move on to trans rights and really sort that out.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed so optimistic and so positive. And to have the hindsight now and see that is
very disappointing.
not just the lack of progress we've made on trans rights, but the backslide of women's rights.
Yeah. And gay rights.
And gay rights.
Yeah, I think when this book was published, people believed that the progress made in gay rights was going in one direction only. We can see now that you just can't take that progress for granted. There are hateful people out there, some of whom are quite powerful, who would like to see us back in the closet. They don't want us to enjoy equal rights.
When we think back to the 2015 of it all, this was before Brexit, before Donald Trump, before a lot of Europe started to take a hard right pivot. This was even before J.K. Rowling outed herself as a full-on TERF.
Mm-hmm.
But we aren't going to cover those heady topics. We're going to dive into something a little bit deeper, a little bit easier to digest. Shame. Ding, 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 ding. Specifically, shame in how society inherits it from the generation before and wields it as a weapon on the generations that come after.
Being visibly queer in youth automatically singles you out to not conforming to society's expectations. The older generation strives to suppress that non-conformity by shaming it. And shame is a powerful tool. The effects of shame can be felt all through a lifetime. And the point that Matthew makes is that shame instilled in childhood can directly lead to very unhealthy behaviors and unhealthy coping mechanisms as an adult, such as addiction.
I think I've said this to you before. People will do anything not to feel shame.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all well and good when you're conforming to societal norms, such as not clipping your nails in public or burping and farting at the table or just being rude. But when you're being shamed for something that is an integral part of yourself, you internalize that. Even if you don't suppress that part of yourself, but you're still made to feel shame for it, it causes a massive cognitive dissonance, and it is difficult to live with that.
I think it's a challenge that the majority of queer people have to overcome, and it's something that unites us. That's why we are a community, because we have a shared experience. Despite coming from different places, from different backgrounds, most of us can relate to feeling that shame as a young person and having to overcome it to be authentically ourselves.
Yes. My experience of growing up is confusing for me because I'm unsure what aspects of myself I was being shamed for because I was gay, or if I was being shamed for aspects related to being undiagnosed ADHD. I had a very accepting family when it came to me liking quote unquote feminine things.
Yeah.
But when it came to how I felt like me being myself, that's where the difficulty arose.
Yeah.
That's how I find it challenging to navigate through life, actually being myself regardless of my sexuality. Do you think that you were ever shamed for being perceivably queer in your childhood?
Yeah, definitely, because the insult that I had levied at me most often was that I was gay. I was quite smart and people liked me, so there wasn't much to tease me about there, or maybe how I looked. I looked fine, whatever. So that was kind of the go-to thing, like, haha, Charles is gay. And there's not much you can say to come back to that, except, no, I'm not.
Especially as a child.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to say?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember as a 10-year-old being called gay for bringing in a soft toy to, like, the day we bring in a toy.
Well, we grew up in the time where everything was gay.
Oh, yeah.
Gay was just a word for annoying.
Yeah, or bad, lame.
Yeah, not good. Which is ironic because
being gay is fabulous.
It is indeed.
I think undoing the shame around me being queer took a long time. I think it was my mid to late 20s and I felt much more comfortable with who I was. And that really is because of the experiences I had as a child, teenager and young adult. Because it's not like it was plain sailing once I became an adult either.
I agree. I think that I carry a lot of shame for how I behaved in my early and late 20s in particular. A lot of that came from the perception I have of myself as a former dancer.
Yep.
And as someone that was very cookie cutter, but didn't want to conform. And the minute I stopped trying to conform and became a lot less cookie cutter.
Sorry, what do you mean by that? When have you ever been cookie cutter
I looked cookie cutter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
fine.
come on, I looked as basic as you could because I liked that aesthetic. I thought I liked that aesthetic.
But now you love the aesthetic of having long hair, right?
I do.
Okay, you
and
do.
That's part of it. And I have ear piercings, and that's something I never thought I would have.
Mm-hmm.
And I wear, you know, bright colours. I never used to do that. I think it's been an interesting journey to go on when it comes to shame. I think both of us are still unpacking it to an extent. To be motivated by shame is to have a corrupt motivation. And you have to find something else in your life to motivate you. Shame spirals, right? And that's why it leads to addiction. And my advice would be try and liberate yourself from that shame.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all about self-improvement, but using shame as a motivator isn't going to get you to a positive place.
Or those around you.
True. Yeah.
And that's why we're doing a podcast, baby. No shame here.
Maybe we need a little bit more shame. One very interesting concept from the book that Matthew talks about is the concept of gays finding their duties. And this fanaticism of specific female performers, entertainers, musicians, or whatever it is a form of escapism for a lot of gay people. While I was maybe initially skeptical of the claim, as it sat with me, I realised he's onto something. It's definitely true for me, and perhaps you as well.
I do agree that we find duties. The Judy he's specifically referring to is Judy Garland. And he says that The Wizard of Oz is overwhelmingly highly regarded in the LGBTQIA plus community. Then also, you know, goes into how a lot of people will relate to Judy Garland's later years.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm not sure any 4-year-old that falls in love with The Wizard of Oz is cognizant of Judy Garland's decline in her later years. But I do think he has a great point. And that brings me to my question for you is, who's your Judy? Well,
we're waiting. I am a unapologetic stan of Carly Rae Jepsen. I'm glad I got that off my chest.
Tell me more.
So this concept of escapism does resonate with me. The kind of music I listen to is glittering synth-like pop, 80s inspired, usually women singing about romance. Carly Rae Jepsen is a voice of a generation. My generation. The world that she creates with her music, I want to be in that world. Pure escapism right there.
Yeah.
Some of her most well-known songs have call to actions that are literally like escape, like run away with me.
Yes.
And I don't think it's an unhealthy coping mechanism to listen to Carly Rae Jepsen music. It cheers me up. It's often extremely uplifting and it brings me joy. But actually, when it comes to Carly herself, I'm not so interested in her as a person. I'm not the kind of person who needs to know who she's dating or like where she's going to be, what she's wearing, who she's got beef with. That's not the kind of celeb she is. And that's another reason why I relate to her. Because that's the kind of way I would like to carry myself.
Then try.
I'm trying. You're kind of
I'm very trying.
This fabulous entity that brings a lot of joy, is unproblematic. At the end of the day, she just delivers great music, and that's all. That's all I need from my Judy.
Okay.
To just bring levity, joy to my daily life.
Okay.
So it's Carly for me. I'm curious to know, who would you say your Judy is?
Tu velu. No hesitations. It's interesting that you say that you aren't so interested in Carly as like a person. I do feel the same way about Tu velu in so much as I want her to have her private life.
Yeah.
I do find her as an individual fascinating to watch. I think she's super funny. I really like listening to her about her process. I love, love, love her music.
Yeah, she's extremely talented.
She's extremely talented. For me, I guess it is escapism, but it's also a little bit of sitting with reality. And I guess going back to some of the moments where I haven't been at my best and really like reliving through it and understanding why and understanding what that means, to some absolutely phenomenal pop music.
Yeah.
Crying while looking hot.
We can both relate to our respective Judys.
Yes.
Not so much in their personality, but just what they sing about, our experiences that they've had, and we can apply our own experiences to those songs. And listening to those songs helps us process the emotions that we experience.
But what Matthew didn't get at in the book, which I find very interesting, is I think often gay men have a pop diva, because women usually sing about men.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have lyrics where I'm singing about being in love with a man.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I often haven't gravitated toward having a male icon.
Yeah.
Because there were, when we were growing up, so few men singing about men.
True.
And Tuvelu, she is singing about men. And women.
And women sometimes, yeah. Yeah, queer icon.
One thing I find incredibly relatable about the book was the author primarily spent his adult years in London.
London?
London. And said something I find very funny due to an autocorrect on his iPhone. Old Compton Street.
In Soho, corrected to Old Competition Street.
And boy, is it.
Yeah. I think we can relate to that feeling of entering the gay scene in London as a young 18, 19-year-old and being like, oh, wow, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of opportunities here, but I am pitted against a lot of other people.
Well, it was even harder for me. Sorry, everyone else. I had it worse. Because I entered the London gay scene with dancers. I was a performer going out with other performers.
Yeah.
It really was Old Competition Street.
Yeah, I bet.
Who is dancing to Rihanna, We Find Love, the hardest in freedom?
And surely, like, who was the skinniest, who was the prettiest, who was the tallest?
Who had the best hair, who had the best technique? Honestly, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I've always had a feeling of whatever night I go out on,
right,
who am I competing with?
Wow.
And I've started to really lose it. You and I both know it's not how I walk into a room anymore.
True.
But it's interesting that even people that aren't performers feel that same way.
It's like we're all born naked and the rest is drag.
Oh my gosh. Right?
So to go out is to dress up, to call for attention to yourself in some way. With gay men, you're attracted to your competition as well. So it's just
and friends with them.
Yeah. There's a lot of layers to it. It can really mess you up. You can lose sight of what's important. We're going to talk about it a bit later, but proper connection between people is what we all really need to be healthy and happy. It's very easy to lose sight of that when you enter the gay club.
And that brings us back to shame. Well, think about it. What used to happen on the gay scene, I don't see it happen as much. Certainly when I was younger, I would walk into the gay scene and everyone that was 40 or above would immediately classify me as a bottom and effeminate, not masculine enough for them, not muscly enough for them. Why were they doing that? Because that's what was done to them in childhood.
Well, and that's what was done to them when they entered the gay scene.
Precisely.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. We're taught to be shallow. And the people that are the most beautiful rise to the top. Doesn't mean they're happy, actually, but they are kind of at the top of the pecking order.
But then they have the longest way to fall.
Oh, yeah.
In the book, the author often describes the people he's speaking to.
Yeah.
And often alludes to their looks.
Yes.
And it really seemed to be the most handsome ones were the ones struggling the most.
Yes.
Because they have so much pressure. They did it. They conformed.
Yeah. They achieved the jackpot.
But
then what's the prize? It's just being desired, but just for their looks and their body.
And then what happens when that goes away?
I don't want to find out.
Well, no, because we're trying to do something different, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know, since I started to join a much more queer scene in London and the wonders that's done for my own self-perception and the way I feel about myself and the way I feel about others too. Being freed from my own shame, being freed from the judgment of others, frees me from judging others.
Yeah.
And then I just have so much more room to be open and to be receptive.
Oh.
And I love being open and receptive.
Goodness. I think the way that we interact with social media as well really highlights the competition feeling. So even if you've taken a step back from the nightlife scene, you are still bombarded with pictures of people in peak physical condition. And when you're just like slobbing around on the couch, which I sometimes do, of course, it can be miserable. And it's like, why have we set up the system like this?
I forget that we grew up before social media a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's just a highlight reel of people's lives. Are they in the country that you wanted to be in? Are they wearing the clothes that you wanted to wear? Do they have the jewelry you like? It's so tough.
As you said, it's looking for fulfillment elsewhere. Comparison is a thief of joy. So stop comparing your looks or your performance or your, sort of life situation with other people, and just think about, well, what do I have in common with these people? What can I connect with them over? And as you say, I, for example, have really enjoyed this year getting to know like more lesbians, for example, not just being completely surrounded by gay men.
I love a lesbian.
Yeah, which is something, a trap I fell into for many years, just being with gay men the whole time. And it's been delightful to expand that circle. And that's something I had to learn.
Getting to know more trans people, it really is a privilege to know a trans individual and to see how they move through the world.
Yeah.
And how they, just by existing, are so radical and they're not even trying to be. And also just meeting people that challenge me in ways that I just find so entertaining and so fun and so enriching. Now, it's not always good.
I was going to say, that's not how you always describe it.
But I think that friction allows me to learn more about myself.
Oh, yeah.
The book, as we alluded to earlier, does do a pretty hard pivot into what happens when you aren't able to move beyond that shame and you don't find a community to help you.
Yeah. People turn to much less positive coping mechanisms. We're talking about alcoholism, drug abuse, physical intimacy, codependency.
Exercise.
Yes, that's a good one. Yeah, food and eating disorders, that sort of thing. In the book, there is a whole section dedicated to these addictions, the helplines you can call, the steps you can take to tackle these head on. We're not going to talk much about that. It doesn't really resonate too much with us, luckily.
Very fortunate.
Yeah, we're very fortunate not to have personal experience with some of those more hard-hitting issues. But what we want to focus on is the solution that he suggests, which is all around finding a community of people that you can connect with, form true supportive bonds with. And this is how you can find acceptance and happiness with who you are. You can live as your authentic self, finding people who love you for you.
And people that you love for them.
True. It's giving and taking, which we are, of course, experts on.
Well, you're an expert. I'm a noob.
You're being called out of retirement.
I'm getting back on that horse. Or am I the horse?
We've moved through London. We've been through many different social groups. I think the happiest we've been is when we found these communities.
Specifically queer communities.
Yeah. For me, I'm in a queer orchestra.
I'm in a queer acting class.
And through those, we've formed amazing bonds with people we might not have crossed paths with otherwise. And it's real. You've got a shared interest, a shared experience, and there's a lot of love there that grows
So much love.
organically. Yeah. And that's beautiful. That's what has given me so much satisfaction and fulfillment moving through the London queer scene.
And this is after, I think both of us have tried very specifically gay only communities, and it did not work out well for us. But that experience, reading his conclusion, reading the solution, we can absolutely attest to the accuracy of that.
Yeah.
That is what we need to do. We must try, especially because of the current state of affairs.
Yeah. I think it's something we can discuss more in the future.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I hope so. No, it will be. But before we go, like and subscribe, baby. Please.
Yes, please. Yeah, we'd love to have you join us on this journey with us.
It's for you as much as it is for us.
Oh, yeah.
What would you like to see? What would you like to hear us talk about? What are your views? What are your takes? What did you think of Straight Jacket? And if you hated it, if you despise us, tell your friends.
Yeah. Tell everyone. Tell them where not to find us.
Send it to your, do it now. Send it to your group chat and have them comment and tell us how awful we are.
Yeah. We would love to hear your honest feedback.
Because we're versatile.
We'll take the highs and the lows.
Oh, we'll take it. And we'll give it back.
Oh,
So be careful.
well, I'm super excited for this with you.
Me too.
So I guess we'll see how it goes.
Bye, Zamanelli. And remember, you can tune in every week Wednesdays wherever you get your podcasts.
And watch us on Fridays on our YouTube channel.
Also on Sundays, exclusively on YouTube, you can find our reviews or our reviews.
See you there.